If you deal with livestock, have pets at home or maybe even kids, there is one common thing that everybody frowns about: poop management. Oh shit! Oh shit! I just said what I said to make a point, which is in this video I am going to be showing you how to manage the poop from your quail cage. Don't worry, I will not be showing you disgusting or disturbing visuals. I got you covered over there. I wanted to raise quails primarily for the eggs, so I saw a lot of different videos and I tried a few things, and based on my experience I learned a thing or two. So I make a series of videos, and the first video on this one was how to make a proper quail cage that could kind of reduce the effort that goes into maintenance of the cage. The second video was exclusively dedicated for the water feeding system, and the third one is for food feeder, because quails tend to waste a lot of food, and making this kind of feeder will definitely save a lot of money in terms of quail food, because quail food is quite expensive. And the fourth video, which is this one, is going to be about how to manage the poop inside the quail cage. So let's roll the intro and get on with the video. If you have not watched my previous videos, I would recommend you do so. Nonetheless, we will be touching some of the important aspects in this video as well. Now, getting into the subject, there is going to be three things inside of the quail cage always. There is going to be food, there is going to be water, they eat, they drink, and guess what? They poop. So if the water feeding system is going to be inside the cage, it could be any kind of water feeding system, could be a drip water system or a bowl of water, whatever it is. If it is going to be inside the cage, the water spills and it falls through the mesh of the cage and it lands up on that poop, and everything becomes really messy. The first important thing is to keep the water feeding system away from the living area of quail, or make sure that the water does not get into contact with the poop. With that out of the way, let me talk about certain things that I've seen on the internet space. I've seen a lot of videos where they use paper, they line it up underneath the quail cage and they use it to collect the quail poop. But in my experience, I've seen that the poop has got a little bit of water content, and the water is it's going to make the paper a little soggy, and sometimes the paper tears apart and everything becomes really messy. Only paper does not work. The second material I tried to use was the carton box material, but again this is a little bit more sturdy compared to paper, but again carton box material do absorb all of the water content, and it is not easy to crush it like a paper. I mean, you just cannot wrap it around and throw it off, and you'll have to replace the carton box every now and then. Just the paper and the carton box alone, if you dip it in water, it's going to smell like really bad. So if there is going to be a lot of poop with water content, it's going to smell really bad, and it's not that easy to clean and maintain everything properly. So I think carton box material is not going to work either. I tried using sawdust, I tried using hay, even soil for that matter, on the paper, on the carton box. None of that worked. Then I stumbled upon this video from this channel called Courtney's Corner, and this old guy here has shown a really brilliant and a simple way to catch all of that poop without making a mess. He is using oil drip trays, and I could not find that in local market. So what I did is I went to a shop, I bought 1mm sheet metal aluminum, and I took it to a shop where they've got this bead roller, and I kind of made it into a tray-like structure, and now everything seems fine. I just spray a little bit of a sawdust and keep this tray underneath the cage, and everything is clean, neat and dry. In the cage I built, even though the water feeding system, the nipple feeder, is outside the cage, quails start pecking on the nipple feeders and the water gets sprinkled on top of the food or on top of the poop. So I had to add another canopy like structure which kind of keeps all that water not being sprinkled on the poop, and things are much drier, cleaner, and I'm able to clean everything at a much faster rate, and it is kind of effortless. Now we know how to keep the cage clean and dry, avoid all the stench and clean it much easily. But then what do we do with all the poop that we collect? I've got three ideas. Quail poop is a fertilizer. So what we can do is we can dig up a hole in the garden, that is if you have garden space, and start filling it up with this quail poop and add a little bit of soil on top of that. And when it gets filled, we can move to another spot. And after maybe a week or two, we can use the spot to plant something over there. So that is one idea, but there are other ideas, other methods by which you can actually turn quail poop into a really good fertilizer for your soil. The second idea would be to use all of this poop to feed the fly larvae and harvest those larvae, and we can feed the birds with the larvae, which is a good source of protein. There are self-harvesting systems, but it is something that I will not be doing. The third idea would be to make a biodigester. Yes, it is possible. I tried this, I made a biodigester, and I'm going to be making a separate video on how to make a biodigester. But one thing I realized when I made a biodigester is the flame is completely invisible. because a lot of videos I've seen, the flame is yellow in color. I don't know if they're faking it, but the biodigester that I made has got a flame that is blue in color, and it is only visible in the night time. I do not have a proper burner as in a gas stove, because the burner for the biogas, it's got bigger holes compared to the normal burners. I'm waiting for that kind of a stove, and once I get it, I would probably make something, cook something, and I'll show it to you guys. So these are some simple tricks and tips on how to take care of your quail cage and manage with the poop. I did not want to make this video long, so I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.